Hello, I'm known on the internet as Allerleirah, but you can call me Al. Most of you watching this are probably familiar with my blog, All Kinds of Fur, Confessions of a Bearded Lady. But if you're not, yes, I am a girl who can grow a beard. I thought it would bring me a little closer to my readers and to the women with hirsutism who are finding me all the time if I did a little video diary just documenting this process. Also, I confess I am a little scared, so I wouldn't mind having a little company on the journey. Now, firstly, a little backstory. My beard began as light but pretty profuse peach fuzz along my chin and jaw when I was about 14, and from there it gradually developed into dark, coarse hair like a man's beard. This kind of hair, when it's dark and coarse, is known as terminal hair. You might hear me refer to that in other videos as we go along. It began to grow on other parts of my body as well, where I normally grow hair. Use your imagination. Apparently, 10 to 20% of women will have something like this. It is a cause for a lot of shame, and it is just incredibly difficult to live with. And since we are on the subject of self-esteem, I will be approving all comments to this video myself, so viewers will find no negativity or bullying here. Now, as mentioned, this will be my second foray into laser hair removal. Obviously, the first time was unsuccessful. Hi! I obtained a dog since the last take. This is not my dog, by the way. Obviously, the first time was unsuccessful. Why do I think I will have more success this time? The first time around, I was too afraid to do any research about excess body hair, so I didn't question it when I was sent to a laser clinic without any tests to find out the cause of my hair. So, ladies, if you're new to hirsutism, learn from my mistake and do your research. And if you're scared and you don't know where to start, just leave a question in the comments. I will try my best to ensure that this remains a safe place to do so. I have been reading and writing on this subject for more than 5 years now, and while I'm not a medical professional, I can at least get you started. But here's a crash course on why women sometimes grow beards and why laser hair removal sometimes doesn't work. What I didn't realize 8 years ago, and what some dermatologists and some endocrinologists are not required to know, is that the physical characteristics of hair are actually caused by hormones. In the case of body hair, that hormone is testosterone. All women have it in their bodies, and it's responsible for a lot of really good things, like sex drive and muscle mass. But if you have too much of it, such as in the case of polycystic ovarian syndrome, adrenal hyperplasia, or certain tumors, or if a part of your body is really sensitive to normal amounts of it, as in my case with idiopathic hirsutism, you get a lot of weird things happening in a lot of undesirable places. In the case of hair, the testosterone travels through the blood and comes in contact with the androgen receptors of the skin and hair follicles, converting it to dihydrotestosterone, an uber form of hormone. And this sends messages to the hair to become dark and coarse, as well as do other things like increase the oiliness of your skin and cause acne, and it can actually prevent the scalp from growing head hair, so all sorts of lovely things. Now, laser hair removal works because the pulse of intense heat and light is attracted to the dark pigment in the hair. It travels down the hair shaft and injures the hair follicle so that it will hopefully no longer grow hair. But if you have too much testosterone, or you are vulnerable to normal amounts of it like I am, that follicle is a lot less likely to get the message and stay down for the count. And that's why within 3 months of my final treatment 8 years ago, my beard was growing back. Now you can imagine this was a very demoralizing experience for me because I had no idea what was going on with my body. No doctor had cared to check. And also, I had no more savings to pay for college. I'd spent it all on laser hair removal. And this was just something that I was supposed to live with, apparently. Now, ladies, if you ever get that impression from a doctor, don't listen. It is not true. Now that I've been diagnosed with idiopathic hirsutism after extensive testing, by an endocrinologist familiar with androgenic disorders. She has been able to help me find a combination of oral medications that work for me. And these actually ease the symptoms of hair growth and acne. Now, these androgen blockers, as they are called, take up so much room at the androgen receptors in the body that testosterone can't get near enough to deliver their naughty little messages to hair and skin. Now, I have read that some women have found their unwanted hair completely disappears on oral medications, but in my case, it has reduced the amount of terminal hair on my body by about half. And a lot of the acne that I experienced is completely gone. This is great, but it's not enough. The good news is, with less testosterone getting at the skin and hair follicles, laser hair removal could be a lot more successful this time. Now, I hesitate to believe the treatment will ever be permanent, but I am willing to spend the money and the time to see what happens. Even if I can go a few more months without having to shave every morning, it will be worth it. Now, I've just come back from my first consultation with the same laser clinic that I used last time. You might think this is a little weird considering my memories of the place and the procedure not working, but it was actually a laser technician there who ordered my first blood test when it was clear the procedure wasn't working. So I have a pretty good feeling about the place. It's associated with a dermatology practice, so I know they're professional and state of the art. After filling out their little medical history form, I was ushered right into the consultant's office. I believe she was a little thrown off by the amount of knowledge that I had. I don't know if it was that she was taken aback, but it seemed that her knowledge of hirsutism was, well, less than you'd hope. But that's okay. No one should be going there to get medical advice. They're experienced with their lasers, and that's good enough for me. Like I said, do your research. Find out why you were growing unwanted hair first, and after receiving any required medical treatment, then look into the expensive cosmetic procedures. Now, the good news is that the price has certainly gone down in 8 years. I was very pleasantly surprised by that. I'll be paying under $100 per treatment to zap this mess right here. Other than that, not much has changed. They still want you to go in clean shaven, usually shave the morning of or the night before. They want you to use at least SPF 30, and they recommend treatments about 4 to 6 weeks apart. After 5 treatments, you're meant to wait a few months and then just see if more rounds are needed from there. I'm trying not to imagine the status of my beard in 5 months. I don't get my hopes up. With the medication, I can at least hope for something a little better than last time, but I don't know. I can't wait to find out. My first appointment is next week, so if you're curious, you can come along for the ride. Thank you. And cut. Sorry.